Welcome to the Waymaker podcast studio. I have joining me today Andre Hill and John Salls, Black McDonald owners. Love having you brothers here. Welcome to the studio.
It's great to be here.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about Waymaker and this summit and what your involvement is here at Waymaker.
So, John, you can go ahead.
Well, I was a guest of Andre's. Andre was speaking at the Teen Summit this morning, and he invited me at it. We were out in Vegas last weekend, and it just sounded like a great opportunity to come out and see what was going on in the Chicago area. And I'm blessed to be here. I'm learning so much. I'm meeting so many good people, making great connections. And I just wanted to come, represent McDonald's in a good light and be supportive of the brand and the Waymaker brand and everything you guys got going on.
Glad to have you here because this is Chicago and this is what we do. This is who we are. This is how this works. So you spoke at the Teen Summit. Talk about what you spoke about.
Yeah, so first off, let me just say McDonald's is a proud sponsor of the Waymakers Men's Summit. What I saw today was something incredible. Like you just said, I got to speak to a room full of, I think, 400 kids today.
Wonderful.
About my life story. I don't know if it was compelling or not, but the kids seemed to have taken a liking to it. One thing that I want to just point out, and I don't mean to take over this thing real quick, but just to give kudos to McDonald's, what a lot of people don't know is McDonald's employs more black youth than any other company in America. We are typically in the backyards of where, or the backdrop of the landscape that a lot of black Americans live in, and we are teenagers' first jobs, on more of a frequent basis than any other company. So again, I just want to shout out how proud we are. And McDonald's also, and I'm sure John can attest to this, they're known to have made more black millionaires in America than any other company as well.
Well, I want to be the judge. We will be the judge of whether or not your story was compelling. So tell it to us. What's the backstory? How'd you come to be in the position that you're in?
So the story I told the kids was something that I felt like would really engage them, something that would be easy for them to receive because it reminds them of themselves. So I come from a product of a single-family household. My father died when I was 1 year old. He actually got killed.
Sorry.
My mother, she is a boss of all bosses. She has done more things than I've seen most successful white men ever be able to do, especially doing it as a single mother. My brother, he's handicapped, special needs, and so, throughout all the adversity that we've had, my mom, she's been a Waymaker for me. She got into McDonald's first, I believe, in 2008. I was going through grad school at that time. Once she purchased her McDonald's, it was kind of like an unwritten pact that we made that I would go and work in corporate America for some time, build my business acumen, cut my teeth, make my mistakes on somebody else's dime because, let's face it, Fortune 500 companies, they can afford my mistakes. My mom owning one McDonald's, not so much. And so that's what I did while she was building up the business. I was working for a Fortune 500 company in Detroit, where I come from. And one day it hit me, and I said, you know what? The time is now. I spent too much time in corporate. I did a lot of things growing up where I call it like hustling, and I called myself a real estate investor and this and that, and had some ups and downs. But I really learned in corporate America how to run a business. I understood how to deal with people, and I worked at a McDonald's in Detroit 2014 for about a year on the weekends for free. I knew the family that owned the McDonald's, and they also had a daughter who was going through the program that we call a second generational ownership program. And so I worked side by side with her every weekend, whether I partied on Friday night, whether I stayed at home and read books and watched, crappy TV. I would wake up Saturday and Sunday and go into that McDonald's and put the work in. And in 2016, decided it was time for me to go help my mom continue what she has created with building a legacy and also creating generational wealth for me and my family to come.
Okay, it's compelling. Well, you get an A on that. It's a
Thank you.
phenomenal story because you typically would not expect someone with a graduate degree to be the owner of a McDonald's franchise, to be in turning fries and flipping burgers. It's not what you typically expect. But it's also what you brought in were numerous things, not the least of which is succession building, which your mom is doing as well and what she's done. So there's a lot to be learned from the story that you tell, and I hope the young people picked it up because there's a lot there.
Yes, it is. And that's some of my competitive advantage, me receiving my graduate degree. Went to Clark Atlanta, CAU. Shout out to CAU and all the schools over on the AUC and any HBCU that's out there. Went to Michigan State for undergrad, go green, go white. But yeah, that was a competitive advantage of mine. A lot of my peers, I would say, that are owner-operators as well, a lot of them haven't, gone to grad school. A lot of them don't really have the background that I have of owning a business outside of McDonald's, not growing up in McDonald's, and also working for other companies that was not McDonald's. So I bring a wealth of knowledge in with me that you can only get from working outside of McDonald's to really help us and propel us for future growth opportunities.
And John, you're from the home of the champ, from Louisville.
Yes, sir.
What's your journey to owning a McDonald's franchise?
It's similar to Andre's in the sense that I'm a next-gen operator. My mother, she actually started as a staff accountant for McDonald's up here in Oak Brook, and she got the opportunity to purchase her first restaurants in South Bend, Indiana. She became the first black African-American female to own a restaurant in Indiana and Kentucky. We moved to Louisville in '95. Grew up there, and I kind of had the same idea. I wanted to continue the legacy. I wanted to continue the next generation of owners and business owners in our family. So I got involved with the McDonald's system after I graduated from the University of Kentucky, and now we have 8 restaurants in Louisville, and we're just trying to keep pushing the culture forward and represent for people who look like us.
We love it. We've had conversations here today with some of our financial geniuses in our community, and we talked about wealth, and we talked about wealth building and what the numbers look like going forward. Love for you all, because you're entrepreneurs as you are in these franchises, but talk about what it takes to be there, what it takes to do that, and what it takes to sustain a business.
Well, it's going to be some sleepless nights. It's going to be some headaches. But I tell people all the time, everybody has problems. You have to choose which problems you want, So we want to sustain a business, you have to be dedicated to your business. You have to know what's going on. You have to understand your people, practices, your policies, your routines, and your systems. You have to have those in place, and you have to have good people around you. So you not only do you want to get to the top, but you want to bring people with you. So you have people you can call on, people who can be mentors to you, and you can be a mentor to them. And it's kind of an exchange because there's so much knowledge in the world that me sharing it's not going to take away from what I have. So, I try to give where I can give and take where I can take and apply it to my business to make my business stronger. So I think just always being on go, always being ready to learn, and putting yourself in the right rooms and being around the right people, I think is the number one thing.
There's a beauty of you being at McDonald's because we already know McDonald's deals in excellence. Each time, each burger, each fry has got to come out a certain way no matter where you are in the
Gold
world.
standard.
Gold standard. I was going to say that. That's
standard.
what they call it.
Black and positively golden. Love it. Love the new logo. Let's talk about this. This summit has been really focused on uncomfortability and how you grow from an uncomfortable situation. So for each of you, I'd like for you to address that. What's an uncomfortable situation you found yourself in, and how'd you grow from that?
I'll take over. One thing that people don't understand is that a lot of times with McDonald's, we are a pillar of the community. Something that we take very personal and that we take priority on in me and my mother's organization is that we believe that we can't do anything if we're not benefiting the community. So we employ the community, we give money to the community, we serve the communities that we work in. And a lot of times, the black employees that work for us, it's the first time they've ever seen black people own anything in their life. let alone a McDonald's. And so one of the hardest things for me to do is to make sure that I always am aware that I am an example, no matter who I'm in front of and no matter what I am doing. And I have to continue to lead in such, to make sure that people who are actually watching me that can become me one day will know exactly what it looks like, and they will too reach back and bring somebody else up with them. That's one of the hard things. And being in the community is not just serving burgers and fries to folks that come into our restaurant. We have paid for people's children's funerals. We've paid for people's dental care. I have given kids suits. I have paid for kids to have laptops to take to college. Those who choose to go to college, we've given kids money to go to college. And so that's what I'm talking about, being in the communities that we serve.
Talk about an uncomfortable situation, how you came through it, John.
Well, I like to say, and I don't know who said it, but failure is not fatal. You know, I think an uncomfortable position is when you're at the top, everybody's looking at you to always shine. And when your moment doesn't go your way, how do you react after that? You know, because me personally, I'm very goal-orientated. So when I got into the program, I wanted to be done by this time. I wanted to be doing this. But the story doesn't always go the way we write it. So I think an uncomfortable situation is, when you're trying to achieve something and it doesn't necessarily go your way. And people want to see how you're going to react after things don't go your way. And I think if you can stay focused on your goals, I tell people it's okay not to get it the first time, just don't quit. You know, so I think being persistent when things don't go your way, where it's uncomfortable, where you got to work with somebody you don't necessarily want to work with, or you've got to do something you don't feel like doing at that time, I think being able to have discipline and do those things is what gets people to the next level and separates you from other people.
Look, I appreciate both of you, what you've done, and also sponsoring this conference. This is really good, really big and important. What we know is that black people tend to hire black people. So keep going, keep growing, and thank you so much for being here with me on the Waymakers podcast.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you. Nice to meet you.